This is a Battlefield 4 weapons review. If you have any weapon suggestions, please leave it down in the comments. If you do ask me to do reviews on normal instead of hardcore, I will politely say no. If you continue to ask and frustrate me, I will say, please knock it off. There will be no weapon reviews on normal, because normal sucks. Hey, Sherman here with another Battlefield 4 weapons review. How are you guys doing? I'm doing good. But in any case, weapons review today is on a very underused weapon, and also it's a very, very buggy weapon. DICE really needs to fix it. But for right now, this first part of this video is going to be dedicated to more towards the second weapon, which is the AS VAL. The VAL is was originally purposed in Russia as a special forces close range automatic sniper. Now, VAL did have some issues. Even though it's an AK, it's just the way it's designed is it cannot work without a suppressor. Which made it, I mean, that's a pro and a con, considering it's designed to be a close quarters assassin, style, sort of SMG sort of thing. What I don't understand about it in Battlefield is why is it in the PDWs? It should be in the carbines. Or in the snipers, But in any case, I'm using it here in Locker, and it is a fairly good weapon. It's got 20 round magazine, I think, with a 900 round rate of fire. That magazine does go quick, and the recoil is not the friendliest. One little tip with this gun, if you are planning on using it, is keep reloading. That 20 round magazine does not last you far, and the last thing you want is to be on literally half a magazine. Like that right there, that last shot was probably the savior. Now, there is no barrel attachment to this. Well, there is, except you can't remove it. It's the suppressor. You can attach, lasers and grips to it, all that sort of stuff, but you're probably wondering, how? There's no rails on it. Absolutely no rails. Well, the ingenious thing about it is when you attach something to it, such as a flashlight or a rail, one cool little thing happens. It actually adds this huge sort of mount that goes around the entire barrel. And it is kind of a fascinating looking thing. I'm not gonna lie, it looks kind of cool. Preferably, I just like it bog standard. Now you can add sights to it, and I actually do recommend using a sight. I use the iron sights because I'm lame like that. Because I prefer iron sights over anything else. I mean, I rarely ever use sort of a sight with any of my weapons. I just love iron sights, except for like M4s and stuff like that, because those sights are stupid. But in any case, this weapon is highly accurate, even without a heavy barrel. It's a permanent suppressor on it. But like all the AKs, it does have to have that scope mount, that weird wraparound scope mount. Just ignore the mare at the moment, but we'll get on to that later. But about the VAL is you don't carry very much ammo for it, so it's one of those weapons you have to be reliant on both your primary, being the VAL, and your secondary, being your sidearm. And that's where the mare's leg comes in, which we'll get onto later. But in any case, VAL is a very, very good close quarters to CQB weapon. Close quarters is pushing it for range because of the recoil, which is why I've been carrying the mare's leg, because that gun can go more towards the range end of it. But again, we'll get to that later. The VAL, however, if you could probably stick a scope on it. I've tried it before, sticking the 4 zoom rifle scope on it, and I've had it work and I've had it not work. It's just that magnification of it being fully auto, and yes, you can change it to semi-auto, but the damage for it, for some reason, at long range, is next to none. As one little thing here, there's like an invisible lump in this particular cell. It's the little heads up to DICE, But if you're looking for a sort of a Spetsnaz style kit, or just a Russian loadout, and you know, you've already got like, you know, your assault set up as like, let's say like a um Flashing Meowger or something like that, you know, some sort of German kit or U.S. Marine Corps or something like that. I mean, if you're going for like a theme style loadout, like I occasionally like doing, this is the gun to use. Now, of course, if you're doing that, of course, your only other choice of weapon for a sidearm is the MP443 Grok, uh, which is kind of a shame, but I mean, can't do everything about it. I mean, unless if you have premium and you do get the Unica 6, which is a fantastic weapon. But in any case, back to the VAL itself, it is a fairly accurate rifle. Now, do be picky on when you're using this gun because it is a short-range weapon due to the recoil. Now, the recoil can be kind of bad if you don't know how to control it, as I'm using it in small bursts, because that's, from what I found, the most effective way to use it is just keep it in, as sort of a short to medium burst. If you spray and pray with it, you're not going to kill anybody with it. That's the downside to the VAL, is it's not a newbie spray and pray weapon like the Aces or LMGs or anything like that. It loses accuracy extremely quick. And it's one of those things of you gotta use it in short bursts and medium-sized bursts. If you're using it in CQB, like corridor to corridor fighting, then you can, you know, hammer down on the trigger. But if you're going more of a close range sort of thing to barely tip in medium, use it as burst as much as possible. Now, it doesn't have a burst fire mode, but that is comfortable just by, you know, self-control of the trigger. And not a lot of people know how to do that. But, in any case, it is a fantastic weapon. Now, I wouldn't say it earns my stamp of approval, but I do love using it, and I do enjoy it very much. It's just, there's just something about it. I love using it, but it just does not earn my stamp of approval in some way, and I can't really put my finger on it. I mean, it's nothing that I love to absolute death. Actually, I do, but it's almost there. If it were just, I think if it had a 30-round magazine on it instead of a 20, or if it were just a little bit more controllable, I would say earns my stamp of approval. Now, this is a stupid grenade. That was an RGO impact grenade, which should have exploded on the doorway, which didn't. It ricocheted off and hit me instead, which, okay, you know, makes no sense. But in any case, as this game comes to a conclusion here, we'll go ahead and go on to the mare's leg. Now, the mare's leg, it has a few issues. Now, you'll see a few of them here in this video clip, is, it's buggy. One issue that isn't in this clip is the reload, because there's actually a glitch with it in the reload. Now, DICE really needs to attune this problem. This gun is horrifically buggy in so many ways. Aside having a Terminator-esque looking or style about it, it has a lot of issues. First of all, it loses damage faster than you can say Gesundheit. And when you are shooting at a person over, let's say, 50 meters, you're only going to be doing about 30 damage to them on hardcore. That's ridiculous. It's a 44 Magnum repeater, and apparently it has the same damage as the 44 Magnum itself, and I know that pistol. You could two-shot people at ridiculous ranges. And besides that, there's a glitch with the reload. Now, you'll occasionally get the thing of, you'll put the round in, and the very first round that you put in, and like if you use all 6 rounds, it just only carries 6 rounds, which is kind of a shame. But it is a sidearm, so you really can't complain. And it is a fairly long-range sidearm if you know on how to aim. you'll that first round you put in and you rack in the gun, you actually won't be able to shoot it until you put in the second round. And even then, once you put in that second round and you fire off that first one, it'll restart the entire reload as if you shot out both rounds. So you actually lose one round in the process if you do that. So it's best to sit back as far as possible. This is a gun that you have to play passive on. Mainly because the reload takes forever. And it's not that long, but I've seen LMGs beat me to the reload many times. But it's just due to the bugs, it forces it to be passive because of that, mainly of that reload. Now there's also another bug where it'll appear you're putting in 7 rounds. And this will actually happen to you if you do that sort of weird thing where once you put in the second round, then you fire it, then it restarts to reload. It actually will do the thing of like you're putting in 7 rounds instead. Now, one other thing I've noticed with it is the rate of fire is also very inconsistent. Mainly because I'm not sure if it affects with the scope or not, but I've noticed using the red dots, like the shorter zoom red dots, which I believe I switch on to a little bit later, it seems a little bit faster. I mean, not like a whole lot, but just a little bit faster. Can almost get, like competing with, I would say, I want to say the 44 Magnum's rate of fire. I mean, just a little bit under. One other thing I've noticed that really kills this weapon is lag. This weapon, and now as you guys may know, as I get team killed, lag kills quite a few weapons. And that's been a huge issue of Battlefield that they can never seem to address properly. But this weapon suffers from it the most. Like, if you think, snipers are the worst because, you hit somebody and you just see a blood mark and they keep on running because they're assholes. No. This gun is way worse. You could literally put your entire magazine of 6 rounds into the person and none of them will count as a hit. I'm not joking. Lag kills it that badly. And as you may see like later on in this video where I unload into this guy at range. Now note, it doesn't do that much at range, but still, I mean, 6 rounds from this gun, that's enough to literally kill an entire team. It doesn't work. Now, this may seem like a lot more negatives to the positives on this weapon. So, most of the negatives out of the way, as right there, see only 58 damage or 68. My screen's a lot smaller, so I really can't see it. But at that range, that 44 Magnum would have done a lot more. But in any case, now onto the goods. The good part about it is it's a really, really good sidearm. Now, note, this counts as a sidearm. It is in the pistols category, and if you're just starting up the game, like you're starting level 1, this is actually a weapon you could use right off the bat, which is really, really nice. Considering it has the same power as the 44 Magnum, pretty decent range. And if you're using, let's say, like, for example, a VAL or an SMG or something like that, something that you really can't go range with, and if you're facing snipers, you know you're screwed, this is a good compromise to it. Now, I found this gun to be mostly enjoyable in smaller games such as Diffuse, 5 versus 5, people are really, really friendly and, stuff, that sort of thing, which is kind of hard to come by. But I've found that it's a very, very enjoyable gun, if you're just playing around, not really having a care in the world, and you're just playing a smaller game, maybe just with like a few friends, like a 3 versus 3, with a couple of friends, just to have some fun. On like a smaller team deathmatch server or Diffuse or something like that, it works beautifully, absolutely beautifully, and it's not overpowered by any means whatsoever. So it's one of those weapons though that if you're playing like a larger game, such as like a full team deathmatch game such as this, or let's say, rush or conquest, and you're ruling with it, which, again, if anybody out there rules with this weapon and can do genuinely good with it, I have eternal respect for you. But this is really a weapon that screams insult to injury. It, first of all, I mean, it is one of the most underused sidearms in the game at the moment. When it was introduced, people used it for like the first 1 or 2 days because it was new. Then it just died off because people are like, oh, it's crap, you know, because some dude gave it a bad review. But I'm not saying it's bad. I don't say any gun is bad. It all determines on your playstyle. But DICE could fix this weapon so many ways. Um, Mainly because, again, just the main bugs. Also because the model, if you actually look closely when you're reloading it, if you were to do it like, you know, frame by frame, and you know, look at when you first put in like the initial bullet after you use all 6 of your rounds. It's here we go, non-rendering shots right there. But it actually isn't 44 Magnum. It's like 30-30 or some weird caliber. No, I've shot 30-30 before and I know what it looks like, and that literally looks like a 30-30 inside of the damn thing. So the model could be redone a little bit. The bugs really need to be patched with it. But overall, if you're looking just for a little gun to have a little bit of fun with, you know, if you're playing against friends, you know, not seriously or anything like that, nothing competitive, it's a fun gun to use. It really is, and I do recommend it. It is a fun little gun to use. It's just, it takes a lot of work to get used to it, and right here, here's a good example of non-rendering shots. Look at that amazing non-render. But in any case, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this review of the AS VAL and the Mare's Leg repeater. I hope to see more people actually using the Mare's Leg, and I sure hope to see it gets fixed soon. I adore it. I think it's a really cool addition. I really like the way they add it. But it just needs a little bit of work. It needs a little bit of refining, and it should have been done a long time ago. But in any case, guys, hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next episode. Goodbye.